morning, everybody, and welcome. Let me make sure my mic is working. Welcome to the Dice Tower Q&A. It's been a while since I've done one of these. It's probably only been a few weeks since I've done one, but I did a couple months ago announce that we were moving, and we have moved. So I want to talk a little bit about the Dice Tower and where we're at this point in time here in the studio, and then I'll take questions, of course. But we're not 100% done yet. We're moved in, and all the staff members are moved to Fort Myers, which was an undertaking. It was a good chunk of last week. Monday and Tuesday was the move, and I think we put up our last decoration last night, at my house anyway. And there's still things that need to get done and straighten at the house. So everything is moved over. We still have our one studio, the live play studio. There's a lot of work that goes into that one compared to the other studios. We have two studios up and running. This studio and then the beach studio. So we're getting videos out. Z and Camilla are going to France this week to cover the championships of Ticket to Ride. So they'll be covering that. So they're out this week. But next week, we're back to normal, sort of. And we still have the Summer Spectacular planned for the first week of June, where we'll talk about upcoming games. We have some upcoming game announcements. We have the Dice Tower Award nominations that we'll reveal there. And then a couple months later at Gen Con, we'll announce the winners of those awards. So, by the way, you can go and sign up for that event. Come to Gen Con. Come to our award show there. It's a lot of fun. We mix fun and giving the awards out, and I think you'll enjoy that. So anyhow, we're kind of getting there. We're not quite back to normal. My wife is currently traveling to Homestead as we speak, cleaning our houses. The biggest albatross around our neck is our houses. We have the Dice Tower Studio and my house. I need to sell both of those because a good chunk of Dice Tower funds was used to make this move, and we need to recoup that funds by selling those. So if you know anyone moving to Homestead, I got a house I can sell them. We thought they would sell like instantaneously, and then the whole tariff situation happened, and the economy has cratered a bit in southern Florida, I suppose. Speaking of tariffs, we are being hit consistently with tariff fees on our promos. We've paid thousands of dollars thus far to get the promos in for our Kickstarter, and that's with many, many, many more promos on the way. I'm really struggling with this, folks, because that is a lot of money that our Kickstarter, like, I don't know that I'm gonna have to like renege on some of the stretch goals because we didn't technically reach them. We've spent so much money at this point. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry. That's a worry for another day. We even got charged money on a review copy that came in. Tariff on that, but that was covered by the company who sent us the game, so that was nice of them. But yeah, things have changed some. But you know what? That's all the negative. I promise I won't be negative beyond that point. It's a positive thing. We're glad to be here. You know, each day is a good day, and we've had a great time here in Fort Myers. I spent the weekend relaxing a bit. I went to a farmer's market with my wife, and I don't know why I always enjoy that. Got some pink lemonade blueberries they were selling there, and those were pretty delicious. And also my new home has a pool. First time I've ever had a pool, and I've been in it a lot. So that's good for relaxation and hopefully also for exercise. So that's where we're at right now. I'm pretty happy with, the new studio is fantastic. I'm going to do a video that shows off. You've seen it as we built and stuff, but I'm going to show you the entire studio once we get the live play studio done. Then I'll do a video that's the whole thing. So we got reviews coming for you this week. We got more reviews. I've already recorded all the reviews. I'm also starting a series where I'm going through the Dice Tower shelves. We've done this in the past, but this time I'm going to do it a little bit faster so it gets done. Tonight's our first game night here in the studio. And then the big game bash is coming this weekend. So I'm going to get a lot of games played. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so let's see some questions from you all, and we will. Does Tom play on Board Game Arena? I have not much, but I'm going to be doing more of that. And how's the weather there in Homestead? I don't know, because I'm in Fort Myers right now. It was rainy yesterday, like cats and dogs rainy. Does the lighting seem a bit too bright to anyone else? You know what? It actually might be that I have... I probably have the camera filtered for the last place I was at it. So let's go to camera effects. And there's picture settings, and let's reset them. There you go. That makes it better. Hopefully I'm not changing the camera settings at all here. Except for this moment when I'm in black and white and sepia tone. And now mirrored. And now blurred. What does blurring do? Oh, why would you want that? Okay, anyhow. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Alrighty. What kind of iPad do you use for playing games? I use a Pro, and it's the largest size. And yes, it's a little bit big if you're playing it at night laying down, and that thing has hit me in the nose a couple times, and that's not great. But in person, I love the big screen. I'm getting to be an older man here, so I want to be able to see more. I don't play almost any games on my phone. I don't understand how people play games on their phone. I'd rather play on the iPad. Let's see here. That's a cool lamp behind you. Yeah, sorry, here. I got that from Kickstarter. Greetings from Mexico. Now that you've traveled to other conventions in other countries, what do you think about the international recognition as well as foreigners going to Dice Tower conventions? It is nice to go to another country. I'm always very surprised that people like the Dice Tower in other countries as much as they do. That's very nice. I'm always overwhelmed with just how nice everybody is and how much they seem to enjoy the show. And it's very affirming. I would love to have different people from other countries come to our shows. You're always welcome. I would be honest, let the promos go. Oh, sure, you say that. But the hundreds of backers on Kickstarter or on GameFound would blow a gasket. Feels like you're back with a vengeance. The delusion new videos makes it hard to keep up. Well, hopefully, and I do appreciate that my team worked very hard to keep videos going. We have a few less, you probably don't even notice maybe, and we've had a few less live things, but we're trying to get back into the groove of stuff. That's tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, right? Tomorrow we have crowd surfing, and then the day after that we have top 10 games that start with the letter F. We're back to letters briefly, and then we'll go back to other top 10s. Lots of top 10s coming. Then you asked about the RPG. Yes, but that requires the live play studio, and that one's not set up yet. I really can't do that one in here. I thought about it, tried to figure it out, but it would just be too difficult. The 4 coins will continue. It was announced that there will be a pause with tariffs for China. Hope you don't get to spend as much money then. Yeah, but I wasn't even being hit by the 158. So here's the thing. Let's say someone sends me some promos. They send 1,000, 2,000 cards, a single card. And the company values that at $2,000. If I have to pay 20% of that, I have to pay $400. That's 20%, right? That's $400 I have to pay to get those. And then if I got 80 promos, 400 times 80 is $32,000, which is not great. So that's a lot of money. So you just keep that in mind, that's all. And you could say, well, the company should put the values lower, and I wish they would. Sometimes their values are incredibly high. But they also can't lie, too. I'm not telling people to lie, right? These promos have some value to them, so that's why. I'll be in Fort Myers in a week and a half. Well, make sure you tell us, Chrissy, so you can come by and game with us. With the trade deal being announced with China yesterday, do you think companies will be able to reopen or finish Kickstarters? We'll see. They said it was 90 days, I guess, that it takes place for. So I don't know. I'm not in the position of these companies. We'll see what each of them decides to do. Let's So I can interview people who want to remain anonymous for the boring. Sure, I guess, but it blurs the whole screen. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I know why you might want to blur the background. People like to do that for different things. What is the best game you played in the last month? I don't know. I just played Santorini last night, the new edition of it, which is the same as the old edition mostly. I forgot how much I really like Santorini. What a great abstract game. A top 10 stocks video. You can only find a 6-year-old one and stockpile one. It would be hard for me to say that stockpile wouldn't win again. I don't know. I might do another stock market game one at some point. Would I ever consider a kid's seal of approval or excellence? We had a kid's seal of approval. I think we have a new one. I'm not 100% sure. Let me look. I mean, I thought we might not have done the kids one in the new version. Let me look in our logos. Underneath seals. Approval, and excellence. I don't have a kids one. I just figured that it could get the approval or excellence. It would get either one, and it's still for kids. I think that was my thinking. Thoughts on Stormlight Archives Book 5. I got lots of thoughts on that, but I want to be very cautious because I don't want to spoil it for people. I ran into Mike Heller, and we talked about it, and talked to Jacob about it. And I'm talking to people about it who've read it. I liked it a lot. It's very good. It wasn't nearly as a definitive ending as I had hoped. I want to see more, and I'm incredibly disappointed that I feel like I may have to wait a decade before I get to read any more of this series. Which I know, Game of Thrones and the Name of the Wind people are sitting there going, "Shut up." But it was an ending, so I didn't mind that, and it was good. I still think 3 is my favorite book. It's 3, 1, 5. I'm sorry, it's 3, 1, 2, 5, 4. That would be the order I like the books in. Let's see here. The stated value of the package is the value for insurance, so understating values for tariffs messes with you if you need to make a claim. Sure. Has the quality of meals in studio gone down without not having a full kitchen? Yeah, that's one of the disadvantages of us moving here. But it wasn't like we were using the full kitchen that much anyway. We definitely used it occasionally, but we have a nice little area to have snacks and things in it now, so that's fine. What's the best Star Wars TV series, in my opinion? Whew. No, it doesn't matter what I'll say here. I'll get in trouble. Let me look. My daughter's better for this because she loves Star Wars. Star Wars TV series. So what do we got? We got Wikipedia gives me Droids, which I never saw, Ewoks, which I never saw, The Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, The Bad Batch, Visions, Tales, Young Jedi Adventures. Those are the animated ones. Then the live actions. Where is that? The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka, The Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew. I've not seen The Acolyte. I've heard nothing but negative stuff about it. Ahsoka, I got bored. Andor is... Oh, the Andor finale just showed up today, I guess. Andor's weird for me because it's very good. I understand why it's very good, but I won't watch it with my family. I don't think they would like it that much, and it doesn't feel very Star Wars-ish to me. It does at points. You're like, oh, this is Star Wars. And then there are other points I'm like, this doesn't feel very Star Wars. It's a good show. Like the prison break sequence in the first season is really cool, but it didn't feel Star Wars. But it might just be me. I didn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi because I felt like it retconned too much. Book of Boba Fett showed me what a wimp Boba Fett was. So that leaves us with Mandalorian and Skeleton Crew. I liked Skeleton Crew a ton. I know it did not get critical praise, and I guess a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was great fun. It was Goonies in space. I enjoyed it. I think as a standalone series, it's fantastic. But I still got to go with Mandalorian. Mandalorian's my favorite. The animated stuff, I haven't seen enough of it to know or care. I know I should probably at some point, but yeah, we'll go with Mandalorian. That's more information than you probably wanted to know. What's your relationship with Edward Euler of Heavy Cardboard? Well, we're not related. We've met and talked. Have you two ever connected or considered collaborating, or is there a reason it hasn't happened? I don't collaborate with a lot of different people. For whatever reasons. There are some people I don't feel like collaborating with them. But if you notice, there are hundreds of channels. I don't collaborate with many of them. I don't have the time to do that. And I'm here to push my channel. They're there to push their channels. And it may or may not cross paths. There's not always necessarily any kind of necessary reason. You can name any name and say, why haven't you collaborated with them? I just haven't. I don't do a ton of collaborations because it's extra work on my end. It really is, to get people and do stuff together. And in the past, when I've collaborated with people, if that person does or says something, then I'm kind of responsible and on a hook for them. So I kind of like just keeping most stuff internal Dice Tower, although I would collaborate with people. I'm not saying I won't either. Do you think you will get to your total ranking of Marvel United this year? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. Do you like Zombie Dice? Are you talking about the old one from Mayfair Games? Because I like that one fine. What's up with the shipping cost from the USA? Tried to order 2 promo cards and 100 small acrylic cubes from BGG. Total weight 200 grams of shipping box included 35 USD. You know what? Shipping costs are expensive. Anyone who tells you otherwise is just being disingenuous. There's a lot of things included. Sometimes stores are going to add, shipping and handling and all that stuff to it, their box and whatever else it might be, and getting it there, and the fees, especially if they're covering the VAT fees and things like that. Shipping is just expensive. I've just come to that conclusion that shipping is an expensive thing, and people who do it in mass can, reduce shipping costs, but it's a very expensive thing. Every year, people overseas complain about our shipping costs. But it's not like we're lying to you and being like, we get to ship overseas and we're going to skim off the top. It doesn't happen. It's an expensive thing. So talk to the shipping companies. Don't talk to the people who are sending this stuff. Can you host a barbecue there? Probably not. First timer here for Dice Tower East. Can you explain how the flea market works? Can people only sell games in a virtual flea market or also the one at the convention? There's only one flea market you can sell games, and that's the virtual one. There's a virtual flea market that you use BGG. You put your things up. It's better than a flea market because you do not have to bring games if they don't sell. And it's a huge market. You can go through and look at hundreds of games and buy them. There is an in-person flea market at Dice Tower East, but it is just myself doing it. Selling off all the extra games that we have here at Dice Tower for whatever reason. We have, I think 100 boxes of games. So figure 8, there's probably 1,000 games going to be in it. We are dropping them for very, very low prices. And so that's how that works. Not sure if the Vasel family enjoys mini golf. Well, I like it a lot, but if so, there's a course in Cape Coral that claims to have the longest mini putt hole in the world. All right. Well, you have my attention. Tom, what are your thoughts on how BGG lists games, especially when multiple editions or versions have separate entries? Great Western Trail, Agricola. Should some be combined to limit confusion, bloat? The whole thing's confusing, but I don't know that anyone has come up with a good solution for it. Should every Monopoly be its own entry, or should they all be in one? And if so, am I talking about Muppets Monopoly when I rate a game, or Star Wars Monopoly? How different does a game have to have a separate entry? I just went, for example, to rate the newest edition of Mystery of the Abbey, which I gave a 4 to for Mojito Games. And I realized that is conflated with the Days of Wonder entry on BGG. Well, they're very different from me. I'll give the Days of Wonder one gets a 7. The Mojito one gets a 4, but I'm only allowed to have one rating because they're combined. I'm not saying they should be separated. I'm just saying it's a huge issue. It's a big deal. And so I have to applaud BGG for the work they put into that, because I would not want to have to figure that out myself. Actually, I probably would like to figure that out. But then whatever I did, people would complain about. So should each Magic set have its own rating? When you get into CCGs, it gets even trickier. Is there any kind of X factor of the news office you appreciate? Oh, I really like just the space we have for the library and the games. You can go in there and look at all of them. And we also have a little gaming area now, which I like a lot. Is there a Kickstarter game you are very excited about that I should look at? I don't know. We do a crowd surfing show every Wednesday, so go check that show out. We'll tell you what ours is. I don't think anything's like really got me super excited over the last couple weeks, but maybe tomorrow there is. You'll have to find out then. Do you think the Spurs will keep the second pick in the draft or trade it for Giannis? I can't even pronounce that name. I have no idea. I don't follow basketball at all. Enough to know that the Spurs is a basketball team, but that's about it. Can there be a Dice Tower North in Canada? The Dice Tower is already incredibly exhausted from running 4 different conventions over the course of a year. Therefore, it would be insane for us, both time-wise and effort-wise, to open up any more Dice Tower conventions in other areas. The end. I think I'll just say that in every episode. Yeah, I'm glad you like 21. That's fun. Tom, the move feels like a milestone for the Dice Tower. I feel like it is. What are some of the top milestones in the channel's history off the top of your head? Going full-time, yes. Hiring staff, yes. The going full-time, hiring Z as the first full-time person was a thing. Hiring a marketing manager was a moment. Going to a studio outside my house was a big moment. Getting the new studio from the last place was really cool. And then this studio. Those would be the big milestones, I think. Maybe the Dice Tower conventions would probably be another one. I still remember the first Dice Tower Con years ago. And I went downstairs and met people who came to that con because they knew me and wanted to come to a con with us at it. And that was just really nice. I like that. What part of the move was the most difficult? For me, the personal move was incredibly difficult just because it's just very tiring to move. I don't know if I can do it again. I was like, we'll never move again. And my son-in-law said, you said that last time. I said, well, this time I mean it. The personal move was very difficult. I still feel tired from that. In the studio, the hardest thing I think was, I don't know. We had a bunch of people on the ground here at Fort Myers who really helped with the studio and really made it. They helped set up desks, build desks, put the foam on the walls. It's just been amazing here. I will not complain about that at all. I thought the Dice Tower studios moving themselves went pretty smoothly. I guess unpacking and tearing everything down from the old studio was the worst part, right? Where we had to fix things and put stuff back up. When was the last time you got a complete normie into board games? Did you chant one of us when you did? No, I did not. I don't know. I don't normally try to get people into board games. I might play a board game with them, and if they like them more, then they can see. I don't know if I've gotten someone into that or not. Favorite Altoid flavor? I don't know what the Altoid flavors are. Altoid flavor list. Peppermint, wintergreen, spearmint, cinnamon, Arctic strawberry. I will say I like the Arctic strawberry ones. I like eating one of them and then the mint one with it. But a peppermint, wintergreen, spearmint, cinnamon, I'm going to go with wintergreen. Spearmint's a close second, though. That's the first for that question. Thank you, Random Ricks, for saying nice things. Steve Jackson makes zombie dice. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. I enjoyed it. They made another version of that, like hunting, deer hunting, but I like the zombie theme better. I get asked this question all the time. What theme that has not been made into a board game do you want to see next? I don't know one off the top of my head. I never think about that. When I see a new theme, I'm like, oh, that's a cool theme, but that's about it. Gator Mike's Family Fun Park is in Cape Coral. Okay. Any interest in the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy set? Ish. Here's my thing. I love Final Fantasy 3. I love Final Fantasy 7. I like Final Fantasy 8 and 10. I like 10 a lot. I like Final Fantasy Tactics. But I haven't played tons of the Final Fantasies. So I don't know. There's going to be so many things in this set that I don't know what they are. So I'm not sure I want that stuff. I'm way more interested in the Marvel set coming out later this year. Hi, Tom. I'm glad that the U.S. and China has some sort of trade deal now. I hope this settles things down, helps this industry, especially the board game industry. Sure. I also hope that everything settles down, too. We'll see. Do you think the board game hobby could use any new sorts of websites or tools? Maybe, but, I mean, like 99% of my tools is BGG. If anything ever happened to BGG, I'd be really stuck when it came to board game information, because it really is the de facto source to find things out. It's BGG, then YouTube. There's not really, I mean, there are other good sites, and I'm not trying to smash on other websites, but BGG is where most of it's at. Now that you have more space, any plans to open a Dice Tower shop inside to sell promos or used games? No, we don't have the manpower for me to hire somebody to be a store for that. What type of pizza do you prefer? I prefer thin, greasy, big slice pizza, New York style. That's my favorite. I don't have a problem with the other ones. I think deep dish pizza is fine. Square pizza I like a lot. I like a pizza called Grandma's Pizza. I don't know if there's a term for it. The Italian place in Homestead called it Grandma's Pizza. It was more of a bitter-esque pizza, which I just really liked it when you added ingredients to it. But I just like pizza. I'm not very picky on pizza. Although, I can tell you the worst pizza is Chuck E. Cheese and Little Caesars, probably. I don't even hate... I know a lot of people hate store-bought pizza, and I look at that as a different food. It's just a different kind of pizza. Is it as good as you buying from the delivery? No, of course not. And no one, DiGiorno's, ever confuses it with delivery. Ever. But I like those pizzas. You can buy them, and I think they taste good. And I would eat them over Chuck E. Cheese. But my favorite is a good New York slice. And fortunately, we have a really nice... and charcoal. Charcoal cooked pizza is really good. Just a hop, skip, and jump here from the studios. We have a pizza place that's really good. The most difficult move, says Mike, was when Chris and I pushed that shelf sitting behind you. Yeah, that was a heavy, well, it was just a hard thing to move. Mostly the bottom. You can't see the bottom here, but the bottom's made of cabinets. And we keep things in those cabinets, but it can be kind of heavy. Earthborn Rangers fell flat for me. I didn't do a review of it. I don't know. I didn't play it enough. For me, I didn't feel qualified to do a review for it. The theme, the way you got into it, it just felt a little hokey to me. And here's the thing: I'm not trying to harsh on him. I know a lot of people like this theme. I just found it to be I just didn't like the gameplay and stuff that much. Is there a game that you would love to play but just haven't been able to get to the table just yet? Oh, sure, there's all kinds of games like that. There's no specific game. And then I'm like, I better get that to the table. So I will. Did Manny go to a good home? I don't know. Some lady was very enamored and bought him. Have you got to play the new Bitewing 2-player games? I have not. If someone volunteered their time to do one thing for the Dice Tower for free and do it really well, what would be the most helpful thing they could offer? This feels like a leading question. Send us big boxes of money. I don't know. Come clean the studios. That would be it, I guess. Is there a lifestyle game you would play if you had the time? Well, I mean, I play Star Wars Unlimited, and I would consider that to be a lifestyle game. There's lots of different lifestyle games. I choose not to play them often. Has Chief Sokotoa? It's Sokotoa. It's Chief Sokotoa. Anyway, he has never done a top 10 board game list. No. Oddly enough, Chief Sokotoa is not a huge board game fan. I played a few with him over the years, but he never really got into it that much. Waiting on catching a flight to Venice, Italy. I have not been there. That is on my bucket list of places I would love to go to. What was my favorite thing I ate in Mexico? Well, happily, I took a picture of the name so I could say it. My favorite thing I ate in Mexico was tortas ahogadas, which I hear is a specialty in Guadalajara. It's basically a French bread sandwich of sorts that's filled with pork, and then you pour broth on top of it, and then you eat the whole thing in a bowl type thing with, and the broth can be spicy. And then you eat the whole thing with a fork or spoon. It was very delicious. But the tacos were great too. I had great food the entire time. Dice Tower didn't review New Angeles. I never played that game. You said your wife is traveling either to or from Homestead today. Is she bringing anything back for you that you already miss a lot? Our cleaning supplies. But no. It's not like I've been gone from Homestead a week and going, oh, I miss this. We all went to Robert Is Here as a family and got shakes the last day. But, I mean, I like everywhere I go. There's all kinds of cool things I go to. But, yeah, I'm fine. I have not played Blueprints. I don't know anything about it. Let's see here. Do you have a favorite historical person? No, I find people fascinating. I gotta be careful saying people are famous. There's been different people through history that I've read a lot on. For some reason, they fascinate me. James Madison is one, and the architect of the Constitution. Alexander Hamilton was one, actually. This was well before the musical that made him popular, but I always found him to be such a fascinating historical figure. Billy Mitchell, the man who said planes could be used in warfare, was basically he was court-martialed and laughed out of the army, but he was right. Sam Houston, no, not Sam Houston. Davy Crockett. I find him to be a fascinating person beyond the deification of him. Several of the Roman emperors over time. These are just different people I find fascinating. I don't know if I have a favorite one. I just like reading about the different things that they've done. Have you changed your mind on getting another tattoo? I have not. Have I ever tried to make my own board game? I've done it a couple times, yes. Is your new top 10 room smaller than the old one? It is slightly smaller. It's slightly smaller this way. You can't tell as much from that. But our live play studio is twice as big as the old one, and that's what I care about. What's a game you played where the theme was too gruesome to continue playing it? There's just been a couple games over the years. I'm not going to get into them. I halfway through, I was like, no, I'm not playing this anymore. Have you played Mission Planets from Mexico? Not yet. Who is Manny? Manny was our mannequin. I guess that would be weird if you didn't know who Manny was and some lady bought him. Or a dog. You're like, what is this? It was a mannequin that used to be part of the Dice Tower. Excluding the portion of the library for the cons, what was the biggest proportion of the move? Board games. Even without the library, board games is the... Oh, no. Our promos and our storage stuff was the most. I have a cabin trip coming up for my 40th birthday. A day-long 5-player game? Well, I would have said play Sleeping Gods, because that's a fun day-long game that you could play. I don't know if it goes to 5, though. If you imagine you got an extra 2 to 3 hours a day to play board games, would you spend it playing, learning new games? Yes. I would. Can you remember the most valuable or rare game in Dice Tower collection? No. I'm not telling you what game to steal. What are you trying to find out? How much does ease of teach go into your enjoyment of a game? It helps a lot. I mean, I'll tell you this. If I can't figure out a rule book, I just played a game. Me and Joey tried to play a game last week where the rule book was just hideously awful. I just played a few games last night with my family where I thought the rule book were just bad rule books. And something I'm like, how did they hand this rules to people and those people go, meh. In fact, we played a game yesterday. It was pretty funny where they said there's a minor mistake and they switched the words black and white. That's not a minor mistake. It actually, you could not finish. And they called that a minor mistake. Tom, with the new studio move, which crew member now has the longest commute? I don't know. Who's the shortest? I think the shortest is me, because I deliberately looked for a house close to the new studio. That was a higher criteria for me than having a big house or anything. Me and my wife are tired of having big houses anyway. We have a new house. It's not small, I guess. We have 4 bedrooms because my wife said we will have a guest bedroom for visiting children. And then my wife and I have a bedroom. Jimmy has a bedroom, and the girls have a bedroom. So 4 bedrooms. A nice big kitchen. That's what she wanted. A big living room. That's what I wanted. And they're combined, which I like a lot. I like having the kitchen as part of the living room. And then when we saw it at pool, we told the realtor, we do not want a pool. We're very happy not having a pool. Then we saw the pool, and we were like, I wouldn't hate having a pool. So we have a pool. I want to thank you for letting Mike go to Tokyo Game Market. Yes, I didn't mention that. Z and Camilla are heading off to France to cover the Ticket to Ride Championships. Mike is going to Tokyo Game Market. He's leaving tomorrow. So have fun out there with him, all those going there. Do you think Gen Con will get too big that they'll have to rent out more facilities? Well, they're building a gigantic hotel across the street from Gen Con that's going to have its own convention center. So I imagine a lot of that will be used. What's your go-to playlist for a long drive? I actually have multiple playlists. It depends what I'm in the mood for listening to. What TV shows are you watching now? I'm actually kind of in between stuff. I just watched Severance, and me and my wife are watching the new season of Matlock with Kathy Bates in it. And I don't know of anything else off the top of my head. Favorite president? Let me look that up. I think I can answer that. I'll say Charles Lazarus. He was the first president of Toys R Us. Thank you, Charles, for giving us a good game store. I'm sorry it's gone. Charles Lazarus. And that's just based on what he did. He might actually be a terrible person. I don't know. Have you found a new favorite restaurant in town? I'm working on it. I'm going through. So far, I think of all the places I've gone to, there was a little place I went to just called Farmer's Market Restaurant, which I liked a lot. I just went there for breakfast, but it was very enjoyable. I think, Mike, you went there with me. I think. That was a pretty good place. Did the dice guys behind you change out? Well, they can. Let's see. Okay, maybe I should pull. These are some pretty hefty magnets. Whew. See? They come off. And then I can open a drawer here. And... well, not that drawer. Let's see. Open this drawer. There you go. And there's Mike. See? So, you might be wondering, where did you get such a cool thing? And I should tell you that. Give me 1 second. I want to tell you the... think I'm in the wrong one. Hang on. There we go. It is, sorry, this is from WallZap. WallZap. Sorry, it took me a bit to find that, but I want to make sure I got it right. WallZap, they made, we talked about them a long time ago, where they made a magnetic display for board games. And I was like, okay, I don't really care about putting my board games in the wall. They also made magnetic closures for board games, which works pretty well. It's a little pricey, but it works well. But they also make these metal things to put on walls, and those I love. So WallZap I thought was really cool, and so I'm really glad to have those behind us. And they did this cool thing like that, where they change out. Have I finished Elden Ring? Well, I mean, I beat it. I beat Elden Ring. I got to the final boss of the DLC, which I cannot beat him. I don't think I'm even going to try. I then went through, did a new game +1, and I'm going through slowly and trying to find stuff I missed the first time. And some weird, I'm trying to fight different bosses. It's a little harder, not too much harder because I'm pretty beefed up, but it is still pretty hard. And so I'm just kind of going through and trying out different stuff. There's still a few things that I am having a hard time beating. So I'll get to them. If you were to get a cosmic encounter character made for today, not sure if there's one already. Made for today, I don't know what you mean. What power would be the most thematic? Collecting ships from our players and playing them elsewhere? I don't know what that means. You'll have to explain that a little more. I'm not sure. Are the kittens still around? No, we haven't seen them. The mother came and took them away somewhere, which is hopefully good. Keep them safe. How many packages had you had to pick up from Homestead headquarters? I don't know. My wife is, like I said, heading there now, and she'll pick up packages. I'll actually just text her and ask her, because I'm pretty sure she's there by now. Let's see here. Have you checked out the Korean reality show The Devil's Plan? I have not. Do any of the kids, are they interested in as board games as I am? No, of course not. None of them are. They like board games fine, but they're not as interested. We played board games last night, mostly because last night was no electronics night, so the kids are more interested in playing games. Do you have any insider knowledge about new games coming to games? Gen Con, I'm assuming you mean Gen Con. Or Essen, we're getting closer and closer now. Still know the new must-haves. We'll be talking about that very soon, so stay tuned for that. There will be some for sure. Does your pool have some sort of an enclosure around it to keep out unwanted reptiles? Yeah, it has like a big screen house type thing over the whole thing. I didn't think so much about keeping out the reptiles. I guess there's lizards, but I don't. Anyway, it keeps out the leaves. That's what I like. It keeps the leaves from falling into the pool. Are Are you planning on participating in any seminars or panels at Gen Con this year? I was not asked to be in any, so probably not. I sometimes I do one on my own, but I decided this year to not do one. Last year, Gen Con was incredibly stressful, mostly because we ran from a hurricane on our way back. But we're doing the Dice Tower Awards. That's our show there, and we'll have a booth. Oh, do you play through app versions of board games? Use a tutorial to learn games? No. How do you determine which team members do review videos? How do you determine whether you're ready to put out a review? Whoever plays it, reviews it. And we decide when we think we're ready to review it. That's the answer. It's a little vague, but that's just the way it is. Now that you have a pool, will future demonstrations of chip theory games take place underwater to test out their touted durability? It's not touted. If you look at above board TV, they actually played one underneath with sharks, so they're very durable. Hey, Tom, how would you go about not always looking at new games and just focus and upgrade the games you already have? Just do it. You don't have to have new games all the time. Just play the ones you have. There's a lot of fun stuff to play. Have you tried to get into 3D printing for the sake of board game accessories? I did. It doesn't work that well, so I let Joey and Brian and other people do the 3D printing. What new games are you going to force Mike Howard to play at the weekend at this bash? No one is forced to play games with me. I sit down and get out a new game, and whoever joins me, joins me. Chris says the metal plates are from Walls app. Yes, that is correct. Anyhow, how often do you get requests from people wanting to be contributors to the Dice Tower, and how many of those do you end up turning down? I turn down a lot of people. A lot of people want to contribute, but they don't know what they want to contribute. And sometimes they want to contribute something, and I just don't need it at that point in time. And honestly, we are really good in-house here, so we're not necessarily looking for contributors because I just don't have a lot of extra money to throw at contributors. What program do you use to manage the library at conventions? They built one for Dice Tower West, and so we're using that also for Dice Tower East. Tom beat Messmer in the DLC. Yeah, well, no joke. I think he was the hardest battle I've played in Elden Ring that I beat. I fought him a lot. He was really hard. I mean, he's not the hardest thing I fought because I still haven't beaten what's her name from the original game and the tree, and there's a lot of bosses I can't beat. I have not beaten Bale. I have not beaten the final boss of the DLC. I cannot beat the assassin ringleader, which is like a side small thing somewhere in Elden Ring. I just can't beat that guy. He jumps me back and stabs me every time and kills me. Who would win in a fight, 100 board gamers or one gorilla? Outdated, very quickly questions would win. If I move in your old HQ and games get shipped to your old address, can I keep them? We'll work something out. Buy the property and I'll make you a deal. If Cosmic Encounter was to have a Tom Vasel-based alien race, what power would be the most essence of Vasel? I don't know. I don't know. I apologize. I don't know what I would answer that. Best thing I ate this weekend. What did I eat this weekend? I stayed home and ate this week. Oh, no, Mother's Day. No, that wasn't great. Yeah, my daughters made my wife some... Holly and Violet made some spinach and ham quiche thing. That was pretty good. I'll say that. What's the percentage of you liking a game versus your family liking of a game for you to make it in your personal home collection? It has 0% to do if I like it or not. No joke. If I like it at all and I think it's a really good game, I'm going to put it in the Dice Tower library. If my kids like it, they might go, "Hey, can we keep it at home?" And we do. Do you prefer the High Rollers horse track or the Woodfish horse track when it comes to Ready Set Bet? Oh, the Woodfish one for sure. I played the High Rollers one. It's not bad. Do you have a favorite NFL team? Not particularly. I mean, my whole life I've always said I'm a fan of the Dolphins because I like their colors and I like the fact that they're Dolphins. And I like Dan Marino as a kid. But that's the extent of it. I don't really follow football that much. I just see pictures and stuff of 20-foot pythons. I want a structure around to keep that out. Yeah, that's that thing. Whenever you're not in an area, people are like, "Oh, there are pools of alligators and snakes." And I've never heard of that happening here. I'm sure it does occasionally. Just like I'm sure all kinds of weird, crazy things happen all over the world. But it's just not a thing here. When I go to someone's pool, I don't go, "I hope they don't have snakes." It's not a thing. Now, if you go jump in the swamp, yeah, but that's on you. I have hurricane paranoia, okay? Specifically for the American ones. I don't know that a hurricane is American or not. Well, how is Fort Myers? Is it hurricane proof? No. But let me give you a heads up. There's nothing that's hurricane proof. If a hurricane comes, you just suck it up. Now, that being said, the structures in Fort Myers have been, all the ones that have been knocked down by previous hurricanes have been worked on. And there's very strict codes in Florida when they build things, both in Miami and Fort Myers. I don't want a hurricane to come. If a hurricane comes, oh no. But we bunker down. We hope and we pray that the damage isn't that big of a deal, and we move on. Can we get a state of the marble races? No. But Mike says I can confirm it made the move. It did. I always enjoyed the outdoor reviews. Thrown any games off roofs, into garbages, or into pools recently? I have not. Do you ever feel burnt out from playing so many games and having to keep up with covering new games? No, I love it. Do you ever feel like you're neglecting playing older games and your favorites? No, because if I want to play them, I will. How can I add myself to the flea market at A-Star East? If you want to put up games in the virtual flea market, there's information on the website where you could add games in the virtual flea market. It's open to anyone coming to Dice Tower East. And Mike just put the link into the description. Also, I caught up with questions. How is that possible? I don't often do a Q&A on Tuesday. Maybe I should. I like doing them on Mondays, though. It's a good way for me to start off the week. Hurricanes originating in the Gulf of America are American hurricanes. Oh wait, we got the hurricanes too? Oh no. Hurricanes are kind of an unusual thing because you have like a week's notice at least of these hurricanes coming, and you're always like, please don't hit me. But for it not to hit you, it might hit somebody else, and you always feel a little guilty about that. Have you revisited Hero Quest anytime recently? No, I played it when the new version came out. It's fine. It's just really, really lucky. And there's a lot of other dungeon crawls I like better. How many games would you say you play on a daily basis? Yes. What's your favorite Batman villain? I don't know. I used to think the Joker, but the Joker has worn me out. The Joker is at a point now. He's done so many horrific, terrible things that he should be dead. Forget the argument over whether Batman should kill the Joker or not. He definitely shouldn't put him in Arkham Asylum. Or whether anyone should kill him. I'm just saying it would have happened by now. Somebody would have killed the Joker. He's not a superhuman. He would have been shot by a police officer. You would like the number of people in Gotham City who must hate the Joker. There's like thousands of them. That's how many murders he's done. Somebody would have killed him by now. So I find it a little bit unreasonable how he keeps committing all these terrible crimes, puts Batman through the ringer. Batman throws him in, he gets out again. At some point, Batman would break, or somebody would break. I like the Penguin, in the comic books anyway. Maybe he would be my favorite. What is the game you feel you had the most fun off this year by far? I don't know. I play lots of games. Do you mean new games that came out? Maybe FinSpan? I don't know. I keep a list, but I'm not spoiling that list yet. French toast or pancakes? Waffles, sir. It's waffles, crepes, French toast. I don't like pancakes. What is the Dice Tower's connection to BGG going forward? Well, I mean, we are friends with the people at BGG. They sell the Dice Tower promos. Our old promos are sold through the BGG store. Other than that, organizations aren't combined at all. They run conventions. We run convention. They run cruises. We run cruises. They have a website. We do reviews. We're friendly. We get along fine, but I don't know that there's any real connection there. Strawberry jelly or grape? I'm not a huge jelly guy, per se. I don't like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, although peanut butter and jelly crackers are good. But they just released Reese's peanut butter cups with strawberry and grape jelly in. And so for the interest of science, we tested them both, and I have to say the grape jelly ones were better. The best toppings for a taco? Meat? I like chicken tacos the best. And even though my Mexican friends would be very unhappy with me, I really like cheese on a taco. But hot sauce, then beyond that. I also love onions on a taco. I can't seem to find a podcast from the old Dice Tower Podcast Network. That no longer exists. It's just one of those things that kind of faded out with time. Yes, for science, says Mike. Reese's has so many different things. But the Reese's Peanut Butter Caramel Cup is my favorite Reese's Peanut Butter thing, period. That thing is amazing. It's just so good. But I like the Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly a lot. It's just a bit of jelly in them. But I like them quite a bit. All right, well, I see that we're getting low on questions, and we are also coming up to the end of our time. So I'll get close to ending this here. Keep an eye out for some reviews. Let me give you a little bit of heads up as to what is coming out this week. Today is Tuesday. We have the Medieval Academy 2nd Edition, Earth of the Abundance expansion. That's kind of weird. Tomorrow, Garden Geckos, Pina Cola Dice, and Crowd Surfing. Oh, and Look Back. Board Game News on Thursday, The Builders of Sylvandale. Top 10 games start with the letter F. Rumble Bots on Friday, Fellowship of the Ring Trick Taker with full spoilers. And then I'm going to start going through the Dice Tower Library on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be reviewing Crafting the Cosmos and Moon Colony Bloodbath. So that's what you can look forward to coming this week. Alrighty. Well, let me jump back to the questions. Dooba-dooba-doo, dooba-doo. Oh, BGA. Well, there you have it. I thought Dice Tower announced a partnership with BGA. Yes, we'll talk about that more in the future, but we're going to start playing BGA games on our channel. Reese's Fast Break is the best Reese's, says, quote-unquote, the Dice Tower. Well, whoever that is, it is not me. It is very good. I like the Fast Break a lot, but it is not the best Reese's, so I apologize for the false information of whoever is impersonating, quote-unquote, the Dice Tower. Alrighty. Well, that's that, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I will see you all in the future. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is Q&A on the Dice Tower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.